הרינו מקשרים אצלנו לכל הצדיקים האמיתים שלנו, כל הצדיקים האמיתים שוכני הפרק הקדושים אשר בארץ הם מבחן רבנו הקדוש, צדיק יסוד עולם. נח נובע מכוח חוכמה רבנו נחמן נפגע בן שמחה. נח נאמר זכותו תגן עלינו ועל כל ישראל, amen. Okay, first off, we'll do the class for the refuah shlema of Esther Bracha Bat Chaya. You have a few names?
Yeah. Eleni Orna Bat Chaya. Eleni Orna Bat Chana.
Eleni Orna Bat Chana.
Esther Bat Rachel.
Esther Bat Rachel.
Raphaël Chaim. Meir Ben Simcha.
Meir Ben Simcha. Chaviva Bat Frecha. Sagid Bat Esther. Yoram Ben Chaviva. And all the...
Shlomo Ben Chasiva.
Shlomo Ben Chasiva.
Farahnaz, Chaya,
Bat Chaya. Bat Munez.
And all my favorite name I've ever heard.
And all those who need a refuah בתוך שאר חולי עמו ישראל, אינה רפאנו להם, אינה רפאנו להם, אינה רפאנו להם לפת השם, בזכות הצדיק הקדוש רבי נחמן מפגה, זכותו תגן בעדיהם, אמן כן יהי רצון. And then also נשמע all those נשמות בעזרת השם, and also we're going to do, we'll thank Louise בעזרת השם for hosting us.
Thank Hashem.
Thank Hashem. So, I was telling Louis earlier, we were talking about it earlier. We had an idea planned for what we were going to do. And because we're obviously starting now, B'ezrat Hashem, that it should last long and we should be consistent with this B'ezrat Hashem. What we could do on the parasha or something like that, but I opened up a letter right before I came here, I opened up a sefer. I literally took the letters of Rebbe Nathan B'reb Yehuda, who was one of the students of Rebbe Nathan who moved to Tiberias in Israel. And I opened up a random letter and it was Bijuk, incredible. It said it was the Avodat Hashem that is written in here and the secrets that he's writing in here. I said we'll connect it to the parasha, no problem. Parashat Noach. We'll read a few diburim, Chaim Moran, Sichot Aran, wherever we can go with this, wherever it's going to take us, B'ezrat Hashem. But I think it was an important letter, especially with what Rebbe Nathan of Breslov writes. So let's hop right into it. And by the way, if you guys have any ideas, questions, you can launch and we'll continue from there. B'ezrat Hashem. Okay. So I'm going to skip around a little bit from the letter, but look what he says here. מכתבכם מיום חמישי נוח קיבלתי לנכון. And by the way, not only did I land on the letter, I just realized right now it's Parashat Noach.
Stop.
Parashat Noach. By the way, I opened up the book at home right before I left. I didn't prepare anything. I opened up the sefer, landed on Parashat Noach, letter of Rebbe Nathan B'reb Yehuda.
Can you explain who is this person? Who is he writing the letter
So
to?
he was one of the main Talmidim of Rebbe Nathan who later moved to the Tiberias, and he's writing it to. He's writing it to many students of Rabbeinu, his friends, chaverim, this, that, could be other people. Yeah, he's writing it to multiple people. מכתבכם מיום חמישי נוח קיבלתי לנכון. I received your letter on יום חמישי, פרשת נוח. I accepted it, קיבלתי לנכון, meaning it got here securely. וגודל הצער והשמחה שהיה לי בעת קריאת המכתב, אין לשער ולהעריך. He has two emotions when he receives their letter. The people who have sent him a letter, he's sending them back a letter. He has two emotions, tzar and simcha. Pain and happiness. How that exists within the same letter, we're going to start understanding soon. Because the breslover, a true breslover amiti, when the way Rabbeinu speaks about how to have emotion before Hashem Yitbarach, you have to feel. You have to understand how to feel. Rabbeinu speaks about in lesson Torah Kuf Mem Aleph of Likutei Moran. He explains how we have to learn how to feel again. The problem is we forgot how to feel. We don't understand how to emotionally be connected to Hashem Yitbarach. And the issue with that is because our heart is clogged. It's atum. It's sealed up because of all the tumah we've taken in, all the things we've seen, all the words we've said that are immoral, whatever it is that we have seen and we have done wrong against the Torah, have clogged up the heart to prevent us from actually feeling the connection with Hashem. Because Rabbeinu says, a true Jew has a lev Yisraeli, a real Jewish heart. A heart that is yearning for Hashem Yitbarach. But the issue is, you suppress the heart with so much evil, you clog it up with so much trash, that it becomes difficult to feel again. And the goal is to remove all that tumah, which especially comes from karabit, blemishing the covenant, chad v'shalom, which is the entire story of Parashat Noach entirely. The entire story of this week's Parasha is about the story of Gamabrit. And how Noach is coming to repair this problem, and how Hashem Yitbarach, who brings the flood, is going to repair the generation through the mikveh, which is the tikkun for Gamabrit, which is the rectification for blemishing the covenant. Chad v'shalom. And how the flood is this entire rectification for that sin. But we see here that a person clogs up the heart. Here he seems to have a proper grasp on the emotion, atzar ve'asimcha, meaning they can exist in the same place. You can feel pain for another Jew, and you can still be happy. Because the Jewish people are constantly moving from tzar to simcha. We're constantly moving from brokenheartedness to happiness. We're constantly moving in this direction. And you cannot have one without the other. So look what Rebbe Nathan B'reb Yehuda is going to say. When I read your letter, I cannot express to you how much tzar, how much pain, and simcha I had in the same time. It's impossible to describe. Look how he rebukes him. That such an easy test you guys are receiving, and he's going to explain the test soon. Such an easy test you guys have, it's difficult for you guys to accept. Why is it so difficult for you guys to accept such an easy test? And you guys are still sad. So he's rebuking them for not being happy. So why is he in pain? Because he sees them not happy. And you guys aren't reinforcing yourselves to be happy enough. So why is he saying I'm the simcha? So he says I have tzar and simcha. Why does he have tzar? Because he feels the pain that they are not able to withstand the test, that they are not able to ascend from the nisayon that they're in, right? Whatever the nisayon is going to be, we're going to understand what test they were in, okay? It's going to be about that these breslovers were in tzfat, and they were, what do you call it? They wanted to pray by Bet Knesset, but the Bet Knesset was being run by people that were chasing the tzaddik, chasing Rebbe Nachman, and weren't happy with other breslovers being in the shul. Okay? This,
What do you mean chasing them like away?
meaning they weren't accepting them. Like they weren't welcome in the shul that they were going in. In Tzfat we're talking about, okay? Now he's going to go into this idea of what's really happening. Each and every person can speak about this when a person's attached to the tzaddik, how sometimes that can be at odds with the other people around you. And sometimes that can make you feel uncomfortable. Why I don't want to pray here, why I don't want to pray there. Sometimes it's like this. And he's going to address all this right now. So look what he says here. He says, that's such an easy test you guys aren't able to withstand. And you guys are still sad. The entire point is to be besimcha within the test. And you guys are even able to be besimcha with such an easy thing. So he's like, I'm in pain for you guys, but I'm happy myself. So why did he say, I'm happy? What's my happiness? Why am I happy? Because we are the victims of the predators who are chasing us. And why are they chasing us? Because we're students of Rebbe Nachman and Rebbe Nathan. That's what he's saying. That's why he's happy. Why is he happy? Because he's being chased for being a breslover. So, אשר אנו מחזיקים עצמנו באילן הגדול, אשר תחותיהון תתלל כל חבת ברא, ובענפוהי ידורון כל ציפורי שמיה. What did he say here? We are reinforcing ourselves. We are under the grasp and under the protection of the great tree. What's the great tree? In Sipurei Masyot, in lessons in the Seven Beggars, the last story of Rebbe Nachman's 13 tales. Rebbe Nachman tells over 13 tales of ancient times. The last tale, the 13th tale, was the greatest story of all. And this story, he said, if I just came down to the world just to tell this story, I would still be considered a complete novelty. The story of the 7 beggars. And in the story of the 7 beggars, on one of the days, one of the beggars recounts one of the stories that he has. I think he's the hunchback beggar. The hunchback beggar who can hold a lot even though he's small. A person who can contain tremendous amount even though the amount is small. For example, a small person being able to carry someone very big. So what did it say over there? It speaks about a tree, and this tree of life almost in a sense, is able to sustain the entire world. What did it say over there? That Rebbe Nathan B'reb Yehuda is comparing this tree to the tzaddik, to Rebbe Nachman, which isn't mentioned in the story. He's saying, what is the tree we're talking about in that story? It's the tzaddik Amen. Rebbe Nachman and Fege. And he's the tree who sustains all of creation. And what did it say? Under him, all the creations of the world, all the animals, the creatures of the world, are given life, or they are given sustenance. And in its branches, live all the birds of the world. This tree is beyond time and space, and it is able to contain everything within it. Me'at machazik et amrubeh. A little, which contains a lot. The brain is something small, which contains a lot. Tremendous amount of information. Thoughts, speech, action, everything comes through the brain. Everything, all the emotions come through the brain. All the nerves travel through the brain. The brain is tiny, and yet it contains ideas that are even bigger than the world itself. Perceptions that are bigger than this world, this physical world. You can think about sfirot and partuvim, and you can speak about the Zohar, and you can speak about tzaddikim, and it's all here. That's a little bit containing a lot. So there are tzaddikim that they look small, and yet the entire world is on their shoulders. And who specifically? The tzaddik Yesod Olam.
Do they know?
The tzaddik Yesod Olam knows.
The rest of them.
Sometimes they could, sometimes they don't. Rebbe Nachman says sometimes there are people that don't know what they've attained in this world yet. And they'll only know after they pass away. One time Rebbe Nachman had a student come to him. Yeah, it's sad because sometimes a person can get discouraged because he doesn't know whether he's going close or how Hashem feels about his Avodat Hashem, all this sort of stuff. Rebbe Nachman had a student once come to him who was sad because he felt as if everything he was doing wasn't being recognized by God. So he came to Rebbe Nachman and started complaining to Rebbe Nachman, saying like, I'm doing all this, but I don't see the benefit. I don't see how Hashem is taking simcha in my service. You know what he responded? He said, my brother, hold strong, because some people, Hashem shows them in their lifetime what they've accomplished. But some others, not really. He waits for them to pass away, then he shows them everything. And everything is dependent on the free will of each and every individual. Why Hashem decides to choose for this person, yes, for this person, no. Just know that the reward is stored for the world to come. And sometimes you might not see that in your lifetime. You might not see all the effort you're putting, all the chasadim, the gmilut chasadim, the tovot you're doing, the masim tovim, whatever it is, the tefillot. You might not see anything, but keep going. Because ayin orata, the eye is not seeing the reward which is coming for later, which is Gan Eden, which is Olam Haba, which is all these things that nobody understands. So it happens that sometimes it's beyond sight, So the tzaddik Yesod Olam, he knows. And a lot of the times, he seals himself from what he has accomplished to remain humble also. Meaning he himself doesn't even recognize at times his own level. Because he needs to remain very, very low. And needs to suffer tremendously to bring down big salvations for the Jewish people as a whole. So it's constantly moving and fluctuating, this entire spectrum within each and every individual, and specifically within the tzaddik. But what he seems to be saying here is that tzaddik Yesod Olam is a tree which holds everything in it. And all the trees are, everything else, all the world as a whole is sustained through this one tree. So what did he say? Happy am I that Baruch Hashem, we are being chased because we're students of Rebbe Nachman and Rebbe Nathan and his holy Talmid. Now you have someone who's thanking Hashem for the fact that he's being the victim. So why? Because we are reinforcing ourselves with the big tree that sustains all the creations of the world, all the creatures, and on the branches of this tree, all the birds. And the awesome peace that exists within this tree. And the great simcha that exists within this tree. And the great consciousness that this tree has. We cannot begin to describe the greatness of this tree. This tree is constantly sustaining itself and lives on forever. It will never die out. It will never dry out. It will never crumble. And the people chasing this tree are like a shadow of a bird that flies in the wind. It doesn't exist. That the spirit passes on and then it doesn't. It goes on. It vanishes. The shadow of a bird you see 1 second and then it goes. It doesn't exist. It doesn't stand. But this tree is beyond space and time. It lives on forever. This is what we call the Etz HaChaim, the tree of life. Etz Chaim it's a tree of life. To those who hold on to it. And those who support it, stand upright. Meaning, which tree are we talking about? Aside from the Torah, the Tzaddik. So anyone who holds on to Rabbeinu HaKadosh, Rabbi Nachman and Fege, and all the true tzaddikim, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, all the righteous tzaddikim, but especially this tree, this big tree, the tzaddik Yisod Olam, he will never lose. Rabbeinu said, with me, no one ever lost. No one ever loses with me. It's never happened. Uvchol pa'am omdim alanu, every single time these people, these midnadim try to come up against us, try to subdue us, v'akadosh baruch hu matzil otanu miyadam, and Hashem saves us from their hands. ובזה מרמזים לנו לקרב אותנו לרבנו ז"ל ותלמידו הקדוש ביתר שאת ויתר עז להתחיל מחדש לעסוק בעסק של רבנו ז"ל ותלמידו הקדוש. And what does Rabbeinu teach us? What is this all teaching us? To renew, to start again, to engage in the advice Rabbeinu asks from us and Rabbi Nathan asks from us. Betorah utfilah, to study, to pray, tchina, to beg Hashem, vakasha, to supplicate before Hashem, ve'itbodedut, and to do itbodedut. I'm going to skip a little bit. So look what he says. And we have no one to rely on Avinu Shebashamayim except for our Father in heaven. And on the strength of the holy tzaddik Rabbi Nachman and his holy student Rebbe Nathan, shehem lochamim im Amalek, who are constantly fighting against Amalek, Nim Bilam and with Bilam Arasha, Nim Og Melech HaBashan and with Og Melech HaBashan, and all the concept these Reshaim represent. Umachnim kol minei ra'ayim meitanu, and they subdue all the evil eye from us, without us knowing all the evil eye that is on us, just by saying, Nachman, or just by being attached to the tzaddik, or wearing a petek, or being machzik yourself onto the tzaddik, holding a chayim moran, walking around with likot derachot, speaking to someone about what Rabbi Nachman says about saying starting again, brand new. Or just saying the word Rabbi Nachman itself is subduing the evil eye. And we don't even see this because it's beyond the physical eye. And aside from that, we don't have the emunah to understand that this tzaddik is big enough to solve all our problems. And how did he solve it? Because he goes directly to Hashem and he says, Hashem, listen to this person. Help him. He's constantly advocating for each and every individual. And it's because we don't believe enough that this tzaddik is fighting for us. What did he say? Don't fear from anyone who tries to push you down, who tries to push you away from the tzaddik. From any of these people that are preventing you from drawing close to Hashem. And although it might seem that the Rasha might have the upper hand, in the end, Hashem never leaves the tzaddik in his hand. The tzaddik will always win. And if you stay strong enough and you hold on tight, Hashem will solve all the problems. Rabbi Nathan said something, that one who starts with the people of Rabbeinu, this is worse than all the other sins, to prevent people from drawing close to the tzaddik.
How can you prevent people from doing that?
Make you feel bad, saying, oh, it's not the right way. You say something or try to you want to do like a sigula of the tzaddik and they're like, no, don't do it like that, like stuff like that, right?
Sure. Don't go to Uman.
Don't go to Uman.
Yeah, don't go to Uman's
Why are you studying this? Why are you studying this book? You should be studying Gemara.
Isn't the best thing to do to just ignore it?
Yes, but to be already.
No, to be the guy that's saying to try to push you away. Not
what?
You're saying the worst thing you can do is to be the guy that's pushing away.
Yeah, that's what he seems to be saying. He's saying Rabbi Nathan said to this student, Rebbe Nathan B'reb Yehuda, this is the first time I read it. One who starts, provokes the students of Rabbi Nachman, with this he fills his se'ato. I assume that's his baggage. I don't know what the actual translation is, so whatever it is, yoter mikol averot, more than all the other sins. That's a very big problem.
Yeah.
Meaning, what you know what Rabbi Avraham Rebbe Nachman says in Korveo, who was a student of Rabbi Nathan also? He says, the only reason why we are still in Galut and all the suffering happens to the Jewish people today, ever since Rabbi Nachman, ever since the previous tzaddik too, the Baal Shem Tov, ever since the previous tzaddik, the Ari HaKadosh, and Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and Moshe Rabbeinu, all the reason why today we are still suffering is because people oppose the tzaddik. People oppose the tzaddik. He says this is the main averah that causes the suffering of the world. All the tragedies, the this, the that. This is the main root, the main source of the problem. Because we're talking about The creation of the world depends on one person. It's a tzaddik. Tzaddik yesod olam. It says in Yeshaya, the tzaddik, or I think it's Yeshaya, the tzaddik is the pillar of the world. Or it's Mishle maybe, I forget. The tzaddik is the pillar of the world.
So those guys that are saying like that are trying to push away from the tzaddik, did they never open up one of the books, anything? Because like if they did, wouldn't they immediately realize the emet, or is it the Yetzer Hara trying to pull them away? Like how far can it go?
It can go very far because a person can be very studious and open this up and not grab anything from it.
Yeah.
And then a person who could know nothing can grab on it and like it. And then a person who knows nothing cannot like it also because he has sophistication.
You have to be very simple to
Exactly.
grasp this.
To understand, forget to understand because no one understands this book. No one understands Likutei Moharan. Rebbe Nachman said no one understands Likutei Moharan except one who can read it frontwards and backwards by heart. So who understands Likutei Moharan? Not a single person. But what I can say is to grasp the simple elements of what he's trying to teach us, to take this simple thing and to apply it to your life. This will never make an imprint on your heart and will never affect you unless you know you are damaged and you need help. That's a simple thing. Because Rebbe Nachman is a doctor. You want to get down to the bottom of what it is? He's Rofei Agadol. He's the big doctor. And the big doctor is coming to fix a patient who has a serious sickness. But if the patient comes thinking he knows how to fix his problem, can the doctor come help you? It's like me coming to a brain surgeon and telling him, this is how you should do the surgery. I've never done brain surgery in my life. Yet alone, to come to him and to have the audacity to tell the best brain surgeon in the world on how to do brain surgery on me, and when he's done it 10,000 times, and it's successful 100% of the time, and yet I'm telling him how to do it. That's the issue. We come with our arrogance. We come thinking we know how to serve Hashem. We come thinking we know how to pray. We come thinking we know how to study Torah, or what it means to be a Jew, or what it means to be a religious person, or this or that, and we come with all our pensées tordues, whatever, our messed up thoughts, and we come and we impose that on the tzaddik, and that's why this book doesn't make an imprint. Because we're clogging up our heart with 1,000 other things, instead of forgetting what we think we know and starting again. And being humble enough to pick it up from the beginning and saying, I need help.
It's harder for people that are further along.
Yes.
Because they have to leave more behind. It's like someone that studied, I don't know, another kind of chassidut for 20 years. Now the guy's not going to wake up one day and be like, yo, I'm going to forget it and start lesson 1, book 1.
It's possible because this language has the language of Likutei Moharan is so powerful in itself, it can wake anyone up. But
I'm saying it's harder.
It's harder, yes. A person who's chassid, or a person who's religious, a person who studies Torah, a person who's really, who's a studious individual, it will be very difficult for him to walk into Likutei Moharan with everything that he knows, or with the teaching of Rebbe Nachman with everything that he knows, and because you have to drop, you have to forget a lot what you think you know, how to serve Hashem, and start again. Now you might have built up a lot of desire and yearning and all this stuff, which is good that you can use to your advantage, but a lot of the stuff, it's a new approach to serving Hashem. So a lot of the stuff in the past, you're gonna have to say.
But is serving Hashem in their ways of learning not the right way? Like,
No,
Yeah,
it's
how is
a
it not the right way? Like, alachot is not wrong. But like,
No, alachot is different. We're talking about Etzot B'avodat Hashem here.
which is?
yeah.
Etzot B'avodat Hashem means advice, application on how to serve God. It's not what to do. By the way, that which you study, and that in which how you study, or how you serve Hashem, or how you pray is totally different. Because I'm studying the same text, right, as anyone else. When I pick up a Shulchan Aruch, I'm studying the same text that is being studied around thousands upon thousands of yeshivot across the world. We're studying the same words. It's how you study it and how you take it in that's different. And the vessel in which you're receiving it. And what's the emphasis? Am I going to study this and this is that's it, it's a highway, and whoever's not like this is not accepted? Or now Rabbi says you have to judge every person positively, even someone who's a complete rasha. And the person who drives on Shabbat and this and that, you're going to judge him positively over the fact that he did a mitzvah once in his days, and you're going to try to find the nekudat tova only in him, and you're not going to find anything bad. That's a revolutionary way of finding the good that you might not have learned along the way. That nobody, unless you came to Rebbe Nachman and you opened up Azallah, will have learned along the way. And there's thousands upon thousands upon thousands of things like this that happen in every single nuance category. So yes, the halakha is the same. But how you do that halacha also. It says to pray 3 times a day. But how are you going to pray? Are you going to pray like a still person, like an old man in his chair who just reads the words? Or are you going to have kavanah and you're going to move yourself back and forth and you're going to close your eyes and you're going to be with Hashem when you pray? And you're going to start at one end of the room and end up at the other end of the room. Or when Rabbeinu says to dance and clap your hands every single day. You know what I mean? These are pieces and advice of Avodat Hashem that we don't understand. Or it says in Shulchan Aruch to wake up chatzot. But are you going to prioritize that over nets or this or that? Or
Is
because
it?
you can't do everything.
But are you supposed to?
Yeah, you are supposed to.
So you have to
Lefi
go to
halakha,
sleep,
technically
wake
you
up, chatzot, then go to nets.
Chatzot is more important than making nets. Lefi halakha also. Most poskim agree to that. Waking up at midnight is better than praying nets at the time of sunrise, which is Shulchan Aruch says is very
What's
important.
the minimum amount of time you have to be asleep before that? Because staying up is not that easy.
Look,
I mean, it's not that hard.
most of the yeshiva world today, if they do tikkun chatzot, if they do,
They don't sleep.
they don't sleep.
Yeah,
They stay up.
it's an issue.
But Rabbeinu, meaning that's still good.
Yeah, it's still good.
But Rabbeinu teaches us a new way of serving Hashem. What do you have to do? You have to go to bed when it gets dark. And when it gets dark, you go to bed. And then you wake up 6 hours later. At the 6 hours after
Go to bed when it gets dark. You're saying like 6:30.
7:30, yeah, 7:30, 8 p.m. You wake up at 12:31 and you start morning over the instructor in the temple and you start your day at 12:31. So that's Avodat Hashem. But to grasp that idea or to take that idea in and to apply it to your heart, you will only be able to do that when you realize that you need the help. And that the way that you thought about earlier wasn't the emet la'amito way, even though it's emet. You did tikkun chatzot. Is it emet la'amito? The truth of truth. Because I only want the truth of truth. I'm as damaged as it gets. The truth isn't good enough for me. I need the best of the best. Okay? At a personal level. If chas v'shalom, someone I knew was very sick, and I had the capability to bring them to the biggest doctor in the world that is specialized in that field of the sickness, God forbid, I'm not going to some random doctor in Koreatown that doesn't know how to perform the surgery that I need for my daughter, chas v'shalom, whatever it is. Whatever the situation is. I'm going to the best doctor. As much as if I can afford it, I'm going to the best doctor. This you don't need to afford it. To find the best doctor, to find the best rabbi in the world, to find the best tzaddik in the world that can fix you and all your problems, doesn't require money. You know what it requires? Sincerity. That's the one midah. And that's the problem that we don't get. That's why people don't grasp this book. You know why? Because Rebbe Nathan said the one quality you need for this book is to open it up searching for the truth. Because if you do, he says, it is certain that the words of Rebbe Nachman will break open your heart and all the hardness of the heart. It will break open the obstinacy of the heart. It is certain, Rebbe Nathan says. Batuach, it's a guarantee, it's a promise. But if you are not sincere in searching for the truth, this book will not have an effect on you. It will be reading to a closed wall. The words are bouncing off. So, what's our job? Our job is not to be a tzaddik, it's not to be this, not to be that. Our job is to be as sincere as possible. And to recognize where you are doing well, where you're not doing well, and how to fix and how to improve. Because that's what Rabbeinu is trying to do. He's trying to tell us where we have gone wrong, and say, look, my brother, I'm here with you. Start again. Let's start again. Let's take it back from the beginning. And you know what? We're going to try to wake up chatzot once a year.
And we have to start over, bro. Starting over is the worst.
It is the worst.
It's the worst.
Because you think you are something before you start over.
Yeah.
You have something. You have taken in.
Just like you said last class, you have to forget everything to know everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. To get to the highest purpose. Exactly. To get to the
By
highest
the way,
point of
Rebbe
knowledge.
Nachman's sentences, you can apply them in, it's a Rubik's Cube.
Crazy, huh?
The guy,
Yeah, it's beyond. It's crazy. To get, when Rebbe Nathan started coming close to Rebbe Nachman, you know what Rebbe Nathan told him the first thing to do was? The first thing to study. You would think it would be to study Etz Chaim, or to pick up the books of the Ari HaKadosh, or the Zohar HaKadosh, or to pick up the Ran and the Rif on Gemara, or this, or whatever it might have been. You know what he told him to do?
Chumash?
No. He told him to do Mishnayot.
Mm.
You know Mishnayot are?
It's for like
You know-
7 years old.
Yeah, 7 years old that are learning in Cheder the first time before they get into the Gemara. They just learn the Aleph Bet. They just learn they read through Vayikra a little bit. They go to Mishnah. They get familiar with the language of the Torah Shabbat. And Rabbi Nathan, at 22 years old, comes before Rabbi Nachman. And Rabbi Nachman looks at him and he says, look, I know you're Neshama. You might not recognize me, but I've known you for a very long time. And you know what he tells him the first thing? I want you to read 18 Mishnah a day. And when Rabbi Nathan's father saw him, he said, who told my son? Who's the Rebbe that told my son, Rabbi Nathan, who knew all of Shas, who knew all of Gemara, who knew the Midrashim, the Zohar, the Arizal, to read Mishnayot from the beginning? Who told my son this? We don't even realize how big Rabbi Nathan was. Rabbi Nachman, when Rabbi Nathan already approached him, Rabbi Nachman already said about Rabbi Nathan that he's a tzaddik. You know what that is for Rabbi Nachman to say? A person came to Rabbi Nathan and a person came to Rabbeinu and said, look, someone just passed away and stuff like that. It was someone else. It was one of Rabbeinu's first students. I forget who it was. Passed away and Isaac, I forget. No, it was someone else. I forget who. Regardless. Passed away and this person came to Rabbeinu and said, Rabbeinu, look, he passed away. And Rabbeinu said, don't worry, we still have Rabbi Nathan. Meaning Rabbi Nathan just came close and he said, don't worry, Rabbi Nathan's going to do what he did.
That's crazy.
Meaning what? Rabbeinu already saw Rabbi Nathan, already saw everything. But Rabbeinu said also something before, which was that it's going to be very difficult to bring Rabbi Nathan close. Because he's a Baal Sechel, he's a very intellectual individual. And you know what Rabbi Nachman said? He said, being an very intellectual individual is one of the categories that make it very difficult to draw close to Hashem.
Why?
There's 24 categories that are brought down. I forget where it is, but Rabbi Nachman says this, when he saw Rabbi Nathan for the first time. Because he's so intellectual, it's going to be very difficult to draw close to Hashem. Why? Because for me to be able to influence him with the Torah that I need him to bring into the world, he needs to forget what he thinks he knows. And Rabbi Nathan did exactly that. And that's why Rabbi Nathan became the biggest of all the students. Even though he was not the most wise, he was not the oldest, he wasn't the biggest, he didn't have the most talmidim, Rabbi Nathan had one thing, bitul. He nullified himself to the talmid. And that's why everything comes through Rabbi Nathan, because he was the most humble. He came to Rabbi Nachman as if he knew nothing. As if he knew nothing. He came to Rabbeinu, he said, I need you. And that's what Rabbeinu said, Tov. So it's changed the world. And that's how they changed the world. Because Rabbi Nathan was humble enough to come to Rabbeinu and say, I need your help. I need a doctor. But to be at the level of Rabbi Nathan already to recognize who the doctor is, when you've been by all the tzaddikim of the generation. He was by all these big tzaddikim. He went to Rabbi Zusha at one point, Rabbi Nathan. He went to Rabbi Levi Tzami Berditchev, and even then, he still said, I'm missing something. So, that's a person who's searching for a met wherever he goes. Rabbi Nathan did not stop until he got to the met. So that's what makes this unique connection. That to be able to accept from the tzaddik, they're crazy, bro. Whoever, by the way, feel free, whoever wants to take.
Whoever on drinks, everyone? Je veux du sang de
Yeah.
veau.
Luis, you have a bottle of water by any chance?
Huh?
You have water by any chance?
From the sink.
I'm about to go source the water from the house right now.
To get to Rabbeinu's Kavanah, you have to be humble enough. And you have to open your heart. So, this is what I was going to say. Let's continue. Merci. Toda rabba. I want to share also. I'll just put it out. So, look what he says here. Stay reinforced and stay strong in the word of Hashem. No matter where you pray, your tefillah is going to rise before the Kisei HaKavod. Bischut ha'ari HaKadosh, in the merit of the Ari HaKadosh who was buried in Tzfat, because they were in Tzfat obviously. Ubischut Rabbeinu Zal v'Talmido HaKadosh, and in the merit of Rabbi Nachman and Rabbi Nathan. Meaning, what's Rebbe Nathan B'reb Yehuda saying to these other Talmidim? You don't need to be so picky on where you need to pray. Just pray. in a certain place, and your tefillah is going to go up to the Kizeh HaKavod regardless, in the sichat of Ari and the sichat of Rabbeinu Nathan. Okay? Then if you guys specifically want to pray in that Bet Knesset, because apparently they sent him a letter saying that they wanted to pray in that Bet Knesset, but there were people that were making it difficult for them to be comfortable there and to pray there. What did he say? If you're going to pray in that Bet Knesset, in order to make sure that they don't oppose the tzaddik, what must you do? Make sure that you guys do not accept any honor for yourselves. And look what he said.
You don't have minyan or something like that?
No, here he's saying that there's minyan over there.
Okay.
It's just that if you guys want to pray specifically over there, even though the Bet Knesset is not necessarily. It's fine.
No, I want to be in the camera.
If you guys want to, what do you call it? Make sure to pray in that specific Bet Knesset where they're causing you problems. Do whatever you want to do, but make sure you don't accept kavod. Make sure you do not run after honor. And sometimes, he says sometimes, accept upon yourself embarrassment. Force yourself to be embarrassed. To make sure that it's Hashem Shemayim, for the sake of heaven. עשה אבי זכרו לברכה לחיי העולם הבא ורבי ישראל מיליפוביץ ז"ל וגם רבי נחמן זלמן זצ"ל עם הצדיק רבי שי שלום ז"ל שלא התפללו בבית כנסת זה. All these previous breslovers did not pray in this shul. These Talmidim of Rabbi Nachman, they never prayed in the shul in Tzfat. And these other students wanted to pray specifically in the shul. And Rebbe Nathan B'reb Yehuda was saying, my father with all these other breslovers did not want to pray in the shul. That you guys are so insistent on praying in. לא היו אנשים כשרים חס ושלום, and you're telling me these people are not upright people? So what makes them different from you that they didn't want to pray there and now you guys want to pray there? So what did he say? Beforehand, in their generation, my father's generation, all the people in this shul that we're talking about were upright people. They were anashim ksherim. They were upright individuals. הם מהערב רב ומהתתקת דורות והם מרשים בבית הכנסת ואינם יכולים לסבול אנשים שרים ולמה אתם צריכים לחשוב תחפולות דייקה להתפלל בשם? He's rebuking them. He's saying, why do you guys specifically need to pray there? In my father's generation, this Bet Knesset was Kadosh. But now, the people running the Bet Knesset are from the Erev Rav. They're from the 974 generations.
Which shul is talking about?
This shul in Tzfat that was happening in the time. That these breslovers wanted, huh?
The one chasing away the breslovers?
Yeah, that these breslovers wanted to pray in, but the people running the kahal weren't very kadosh. Ça veut dire, ils voulaient pas que les breslovers y prient là-bas et tout ça. They didn't want the breslovers to pray there and stuff. And he's saying, my father didn't necessarily pray there. And in their generation, the people running the shul were kadosh. And now you guys want to go there, and they're not even kadosh people. They're from the Erev Rav, the people running the Bet Knesset.
Who's saying my father?
This person who wrote the letter, Rebbe Nathan B'reb Yehuda, un des Talmidim de Rebbe Nathan.
So is he saying that anyone, is he basically saying that anyone that chases away Rebbe Nachman is Rav?
Right now? Technically, yes.
Wow.
Wow.
One who chases the tzaddik,
Erev Rav,
c'est Erev Rav.
74 générations qui sont genre.
Ils sont part du Erev Rav.
Ceux qui essayent d'attraper le tzaddik.
Ça veut dire.
Pour le renvoyer.
Ah, qui le
Ils sont
renvoient.
contre le tzaddik.
Les gens qui disent ne va pas là, ne va pas truc.
Moi quand j'ai grandi quand les gens ils disaient je vais à Ouman, frère, c'était genre t'étais un ouf, genre c'était absurde d'aller à Ouman, genre tu laisses ta femme, tes enfants et tout. Mais tellement de gens, ça veut dire des keilotes qui parlaient comme ça. Et aujourd'hui ces keilotes tu les vois à Ouman. Donc ça c'était pas le RF rap, c'était
C'est le point.
Mentalité. De quitter ta femme.
Non, parce que peut-être.
il y avait tellement de keilotes qui étaient contre Rabbi qui étaient Breslov.
T'as raison, mais tu peux dire que eux ils ont pas ouvert les livres et eux peut-être ils ont ouvert les livres. Peut-être une différence comme ça. Parce que you can never blame someone that's never opened the book. You can't. You're gonna say something, and your response should be, if someone says something about Uman or whatever, and your response say, hey, did you actually study the Torah and look into it? And they say no, then they say their opinion is worthless if you never looked into something. But if they went into it and dug, and then maybe once it's like that, then you just throw the guy together or whatever, you know? No.
You know, to understand the Erev Rav, we're not going to get into it because it's a little bit, it's not a controversial topic, it's just complicated because it has to do with Gilgul Neshamot. Erev Rav Amalek is a concept. And by the way, Amalek is one of 5 groups in the Erev Rav.
Wow.
Amalek is a group of the Erev Rav. People don't know this. It's written in the Zohar, in Bereshit, Daf Chavre, that there are 5 groups of the Erev Rav. Anakim, Giborim, Refaim, Amalekim, Giborim, Amalekim, Anakim. I forget the other one.
Est-ce que ça veut dire que Amalek finalement c'est au sein de notre peuple?
C'est possible that people who are considered or what we think are Jews today can be considered Amalek. C'est très possible. Yes, it's possible.
Mais les Anakim, ils restent des descendants de.
Les Anakim,
ça existe
ça veut
toujours.
dire Anakim, le Zohar il explique. Le Zohar il explique Anakim, ça veut parler des géants. C'est quoi Anakim? Ça utilise les mots Anak pour expliquer comment les gens aujourd'hui, how the people today, with their midot, are considered Anakim. You know, I'm going to give you a good one. You know what it says in the Zohar Kadosh? Giborim. You know what Giborim are?
No.
That are considered one of the 5 groups of the Erev Rav? There's many groups. One of the groups is people who are leaders of the leaders of other goyim who suppress Am Yisrael and who cause suffering on Am Yisrael. Governments who suppress Am Yisrael and stuff like that, who suppress the Jewish people. This is also part of Erev Rav.
Wow.
One of the groups of the Erev Rav, you want to hear a crazy one?
Yeah.
Which is what he seems to be saying. Rabbeinu also speaks about it in Likutei Moharan. I'm going to open up the lesson, that way we guys understand here. Louis, you have a towel by any chance? And drop some water over here. I don't want to...
I'm gonna bring you.
Merci, mon frère. Look at this. I'm going to open up in the lesson Likutei Moharan. Okay. We're going to get to the bottom of this. Look at this. Okay. Merci, mon frère. Toda rabba.
Wait, Moshe,
Yeah.
in these groups, they are Jews, right?
Yes, Erev Rav they were Jewish people.
But like,
They were Jews. They had converted.
you know, like, what's the place for tshuva for these people? Like,
The truth is, in the end, they will do teshuvah, but not Amalek. Amalek must be destroyed. Amalek is one of the groups of the 5.
It's a mitzvah to kill Amalek.
Of course, it's a mitzvah. Now today, who understands who is Amalek and comes from?
Yeah, how do you
So
understand?
these big people today, George Soros, I'm going to give an example. He's a Jew, George Soros, mais lui, il est Amalek. Complètement Amalek.
Feel the burn.
People like this, by the way.
What's worse than
People like this. People, big official, big people who have tremendous amounts of money, who cause the suffering of Jewish people. George Soros, who funded all the universities.
The rallies, etc.
Tous ces gens-là,
Qui?
tous ces gens-là,
Sanders.
they're for sure included in the Erev Rav. These people are for sure included in the Erev Rav. If not, they are Amalek. I'll just say like that.
Mais juste un truc que je comprends pas, c'est que Amalek c'était pas censé être un autre peuple. Pourquoi c'est. Moi j'ai toujours compris ça comme étant un autre peuple, Amalek. Qu'on devait combattre, c'est nos ennemis, mais je pensais pas que ça faisait partie du Erev Rav, parce que selon moi, le Erev Rav s'était constitué au moment de la sortie d'Égypte. Et Amalek est apparition de mec après, alors c'est ça que je comprends
You're
pas
right,
trop.
but you don't know if these neshamot who are causing suffering who claim they are Jews or even Jews. Tu sais pas. You don't know. So a lot of these people who are considered
étaient
Jews
déjà en fait
today
des Amalek.
aren't necessarily Jews.
Étaient déjà des Amalekis en fait, c'est ça? Quand ils ont
Bien
rejoint.
sûr.
Ah d'accord.
Ils ont une neshama de Amalek aussi. There's plenty of levels, and by the way, this has to do with Gilgul Neshamot and lots of stuff that are very deep that I do not understand. Now, what he seems to be explaining is this. He's speaking about people who are running a Bet Knesset in Tzfat, which by default over there by them had beer, had peot. Okay, we're talking about people who are running a Bet Knesset. Okay,
Non, c'est vrai.
bro, the Bet Knesset in Tzfat. Okay. He says, now, Aval Achshav, the people running the congregation, the board, or the congregation, or whatever it is, and Erev Rav, they are from the Erev Rav, or from the 974 generations preceding the world. There are 974 generations. We're going to explain.
Hashem like created and destroyed?
Yes. And we're going to see what this is. Let's open up in Likutei Moharan, Kuf Mem Zayin.
La fin du monde, c'est ça?
Look at this.
Tu vas
There are some people who are brazen in the Torah, who are bold in Torah, who have arrogance in the Torah. Oh, sorry, they have arrogance and no chelek b'Torah. These people who are brazen and have arrogance have no portion in the Torah. They have no place in the Torah. Kemo, שאמרו רבותינו ז"ל, אז החכמים say in the Gemara Chagiga, דבר ציווה לאלף דור. The word he commanded for 1,000 generations. So what? שביקש הקדוש ברוך הוא ליתן התורה לאלף דורות. Hashem only gave the Torah after 1,000 generations. After we see this is Moshe Rabbeinu. The Torah wasn't existing until Moshe Rabbeinu.
Moshe was after 1,000 generations.
When we say generations, it's technically 22. No, I forget how many generations from Abraham to Noach is 10. Noach to Adam to Noach is 10. Noach to Abraham is 10. And then Abraham to Moshe is, I think there's like Yitzchak, Yaakov.
Yeah, but what's a generation from? Because they lived till they're 970.
No, but it takes from father to son. Yitzchak, Yaakov. I
Oh,
think it's
so every 20 years.
26? 26 generations? 26.
Ah bon?
I think it's 26. Yitzchak, Yaakov,
Right.
Yaakov. Then we have Levi, Amram. No, Levi, yeah. Levi, Amram, Moshe. No. I'm missing something. I'm missing one for sure. Regardless. You have, okay, from Abraham, then you have Yitzchak, Yaakov, you have Levi, the son of Levi. Who's the son of Levi?
ChatGPT.
Kehat Merari. You have I forget, there's Kehat Merari and there's someone else.
Kehat.
One of them, and then you have Amram, and then you have Moshe. Okay?
Let's see.
26 generations from Adam to Moshe Rabbeinu. So, from father to son. But he's saying Tziva le'elef dor, they're calculating a different form of generation here, okay? That Hashem only gave the Torah after 1,000 generations.
Gershon.
Gershon Kehat Merari, exactly. Okay? Then it comes Amram, and then comes Moshe Rabbeinu. So 26 generations.
You just count it.
Huh?
You just count it.
No, not from Adam to Noah. Abraham. So, ונתנה ל-26 דורות.
C'est un ordi, mec.
What did Hashem do? So look what it says here. שביקש ברוך הוא ליתן התורה ל1,000 דורות. Hashem wanted to give the Torah after 1,000 generations. ראה שאין העולם מתקיים. He saw the world would not stand. So what did he do? He gave it after 26.
Ah ouais.
Hashem initially wanted to give it 1,000 generations after.
What happened Ben?
Oh, you said
Wait, say that one more
974
time.
plus 26.
Oui, ça fait 1000.
So the 26, exactly. So you see the down here?
Yeah.
So what's the idea? Hashem wanted to give the Torah after 1,000 generations. That was his initial plan. But it's in the Gemara. But he saw the world would not stand. So he gave it after 26 generations.
Oh, got it.
And that was Moshe Rabbeinu. Now 26 from that 1,000, if you subtract
How did he
that.
not know?
Huh?
How did he not know what instead?
These are all secrets of what it means, what he's talking
So
about.
tell us.
So what did he say
Yeah,
here?
you have the secrets.
Look what Rabbeinu says. Ve'amad ushtaran. So he rose. What happened? And after 26 generations, he gave the Torah. Ve'amad ushtaran. And he implanted these people, these brazen-faced people, in every single generation. Okay? Now what did that mean? These brazen-faced people, these people that we're talking about, are in every single generation. They have no chelek in the Torah. They have no portion in the Torah. Nimtza, we find. These brazen-faced people, because they have no chelek in the Torah, they have no portion in the Torah. They are not part of the giving of the Torah. Which means what? Because we said Hashem gave it after 26 generations. Because he saw that if you were to give it one generation after, it would not be able to stand. You needed to give it there. So 974, if you take 26 subtracted from 1,000, you get 974. Which means what? There are 974 generations that were not fitting for the Torah.
Wow.
That he needed to give it beforehand.
Right.
And Erev Rav is not part of that. It's you're either Erev Rav
These
or
are
from the
people-
generations for 19.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
isn't Erev Rav 974 groups we said?
No, it's 5 groups.
Oh, you said something else with 974.
These people.
Moshe.
Hashem wanted to give the Torah after 1,000 generations. Right?
Right.
Hashem gave it after 26. Which means that by the 27th he knew the world cannot stand. He needed to give it a generation
Yeah.
before. So from 27 till the end of 1,000 are 974 generations that aren't fitting.
They weren't supposed to have it.
They weren't supposed to have it.
Yeah.
But they got it because they couldn't stay
Because,
without it.
exactly.
Ah,
So what? But the 26 generation before could get it
Yeah.
before. The world could stand without it.
But why wait 1,000 generations?
Hashem with his awesome chokhmah did it in this fashion. Those 974 generations are the 974 generations, what we're talking about, that aren't fitting. The klal of them, the generality of them that we're talking about, are the brazen-faced people of the generation. Those people who oppose the tzaddik vehemently, who say outright not to go against the tzaddik chadashan. Or these people who are very brazen-faced, who prevent people from drawing close
Okay,
to
so
the
just
tzaddik.
based off the math, that's 20,000 years approximately.
Yeah, maybe. How it goes from each and every year, because people used to live 900 years back then, and now people live 80.
Yeah, but you said 974 generations weren't supposed to get it, so did we receive the Torah? We didn't receive the Torah 20,000 years ago.
Non.
Okay, so 974 generations, roughly 20 years a generation.
Il y a 3000 ans on a reçu la Torah.
Hein?
3000 ans on a reçu la Torah.
3000 ans. Ouais, c'est pour ça. Là, il dit 974.
Moi je comprends pas le lien, je t'avoue, je comprends pas le lien entre les 974 générations et ces gens-là, je te dis, qui sont apparus et qui s'opposent au tzaddik. Je comprends pas trop le lien entre les
So
deux.
look, I'm gonna explain. Let me finish. So what did he say over here?
Enfin, je comprends pas le lien en fait avec le truc des générations, qu'ils ont pas eu la Torah, enfin ils pouvaient pas se finir sur la Torah, alors du coup on a reçu la Torah, mais c'est quoi le lien du coup avec...
So what is it? We're talking about here.
Let's go after maybe before.
So what is Rebbe Nachman coming to prove to us? We say that a person who's brazen, who's bold, a bold arrogance, has no portion in the Torah. It says one who has boldness, azet panim, azut panim, brazen faced. Il a chutzpah, bad chutzpah. It's not even a chutzpah, it's worse. Okay?
Qui parle mal.
These people, you can be certain that their forefathers never stood on Har Sinai. Which means what? They are not part of the Torah at all. Okay?
But it's your choice to be that way.
You think,
Yes.
Some people are born with it.
Yeah, but you could decide to do teshuvah on your
You're
midot
right.
and say, I'm
You're
going
right.
to be a...
You're right.
I think Chazal says that it takes about 70 years to change a midah. So it takes a lifetime to
Schon galère.
You're right.
It's not you, it's every single person.
You can fix, you can... Yeah, there's inyanim. The tzaddik can help you. There's many things you can bypass.
Mieux de pas commencer, frère.
But I didn't even
Look,
start bringing
Rabbeinu fixed all his midot by the age of 13. He already destroyed his Yetzer Hara for Tav.
Yeah, but if we're all Rebbe Nachman, frère.
No, but that's the problem. When someone came to Rabbeinu and said, Rabbeinu, you have a big neshama. He said, Chad v'shalom, you can't say that because everything I did to attain what I did was all through hard work. He said, if I was born in the lowest family of the Jewish people,
So he was gifted a big neshama. Or no, you're right. It's his neshama.
it means nothing.
You're right.
Because he said, everything I did was for work. When someone came to him, he said, if anyone wants to be like me, they can be like me.
Oh my gosh, have to work.
Just have to put in the work. How much do you want? How much do you believe in yourself?
So you're saying 15 million people combined can't do the work he did?
Yeah. Right now, yeah. But that's because they don't work as hard. How much do you want? Now,
There has to be one
now
guy
we are
out
able
there.
to do what he can do, even more so, in the sense that he gives us the strength.
Oh, je rigole pas, Ben.
That he gives us the strength. He works through us, through the Talmidim, but those people who are willing to be completely nullified to him, who really work to be nullified to him, to accept the advice, to apply what he says. So I'm going to get back to the idea because I want to go this and back to this topic. What did he say? He says, Mi sheyesh bo azud, he brings it down from the Gemara Nedarim. One who has azud, boldness, you can be certain that his forefathers never stood on Har Sinai. So what do we say? Person who has azud panim, person who is brazen faced, was never part of the Torah. Great? Now, what is Rabbeinu saying? On another idea, there were 974 generations that weren't fitting for the Torah to be given. Right? Because Hashem only gave it after 26, even though he wanted to give it after 1,000. Which means those 974, that gap was because the world could not live without it. Which means we're not worthy. Hashem is giving it to us as a gift.
Matan Torah.
Matan Torah. Now what?
Les 26 générations.
Ouais, ça, je
Now
me
what?
suis rendu compte, quoi, je sais pas.
Now what? What's the idea?
26 years.
If they are 974 generations that aren't fitting for the Torah, just like these people who are brazen-faced are not part of the Torah, what are we saying? That these brazen-faced people, where do they come from? From those 974 generations.
Got it.
So where does the source of their neshamot come from? What does Rabbeinu say? That these brazen-faced people who have no portion of the Torah, just know that their source comes from those generations that are not fitting for the giving of the Torah.
And the
They have no
26
portion in the Torah.
Donc,
And the 26 is
If we don't understand, we'll move on.
donc des 26 alors?
No, the 26, they were fitting because they
Ah
didn't
oui,
need
parce
it.
qu'ils n'avaient pas besoin, d'accord.
So
So
what?
les 26, ils étaient tous genre des tzadik gadol, machin.
Basically.
So the 26 from Adam Arishon to Moshe Rabbeinu?
Yeah, they weren't fit. They didn't need the Torah.
What do you mean they didn't?
They didn't. Hashem didn't give it
They
to them.
didn't need it, they were tzadikim already. Après, ils ont commencé à manger des cheeseburgers, c'est parti ensuite.
So emotion.
C'est sûr.
Sin.
Et
Yeah,
connais les
of course.
feuilles, frère, ils attendent.
Now, of course, we saw sins before this and that, but there were 26
Not just
generations
like
that Hashem saw that the world did not need the Torah. After that, He said the world could not survive without it.
Adam and his wife sinned.
Huh?
Adam
Of
and
course,
his
they
wife
all sinned. Everybody sinned, but different
Adam and his wife
generations in
said what?
comparison. Everybody sinned back then.
Oh, Adam and his wife sinned.
Everyone. But what makes them special versus this and that? Why do we understand this? The generations got worse. Yeridat hador. What can we say? So what happens?
Until you came along.
Donc attends, c'est-à-dire que les gens finalement qui suivent le tzadik actuellement, ça veut dire qu'ils viennent par contre des 26 générations d'avant.
C'est possible. C'est possible.
Ou la 1001 génération. La génération après.
Ouais.
Génération
Mais-
après.
These are all things about
Bon, il est pas
maybe
encore
you
arrivé,
come
je
from
crois.
within those 974
C'est ça,
generations,
c'est
but
pour ça que je lui ai
neshama
demandé la
that is
question
fixed.
des 20 000 ans.
Ouais, je comprends.
Parce que sinon, on est dedans, nous les.
By the way, these are all things that are very deep in the Kabbalah and Zohar and stuff like that, and how they work, because it all has to do with reincarnation of souls and which soul comes from which generation and
Yeah,
how
no,
far
that's
back
one-
it goes. These are things we cannot go into.
Yeah, he also created the world already millions of years old.
Of course,
Yeah.
these are things that we don't understand. Now, what we can say, that's what we're talking about here. What is Rabbi?
Him to predate the earth.
But what is Rebbe Nathan B'reb Yehuda saying? That these people who are running the kahal, the Bet Knesset,
Are from either that
or the Erev. Now we just talked about this. They have no portion in the Torah. Tough? Because even bigger than the Torah is a tzaddik, and they're
No.
opposing the tzaddik. I'll give you something.
Where's the Azamran?
No, that has nothing to do with Azama. This has to do with separating the emes from the sheker. What Azama would be is saying Jews. When Rabbi Nathan of Breslov Yehuda goes into his Vodadut and he says Hashem Yitbarach, they still say Modéani. They still get up and pray Shacharit. They put on tefillin and talit. These are Nekudot Tovot. What they are doing though, that is,
Yeah, you can't find
you cannot deny the fact that they're Erev Rav or Tatkat Dorot. Whether you find a Nekudat Tova on them and something else, Rasha Gamu, Tov, do it. But he is protecting everyone and telling them, this is what we're talking about here. Now, going back to what it says in the Zohar Kadosh, it says in the Zohar, there are 5 groups, right? Anakim, Amalekim, Irfaim, Giborim. I forget the other, there's one more. One of the groups is called Giborim. You know why they're called Giborim, mighty men? Because they're called mighty men. Because these people, and this is one of the groups of the Erev Rav, these are people who build Batei Knesiot. They build shuls and Batei Midrashot. They put a crown on the Torah, and they do it all for the sake of their own honor, not for L'Shem Hashem.
We put a crown on the Torah also, no?
No, but I'm saying, what it seems to be saying in the Zohar, if you have Pshat, I'm talking about Pshat here. One of the groups of the Erev Rav, those people who build shuls and Bet Midrashim, put a crown on the Torah, meaning they give honor to the Torah, they establish yeshivot, this, that, and they do it only for their own honor. A big plaque on the wall, comme ça, pour mon nom, this or that. Without, by the way, you can still have that, and it can be the Shem Shamayim. But
What's the difference?
you do not know, unless you're a tzaddik who understands what we're talking about here. Now there are people who build Batei Knesiot, Batei Midrashot, and they don't do it lishma. And what's a good indication that they don't do lishma? This exact one.
But it's okay.
That they oppose the tzaddik.
I
They
feel,
are Erev Rav.
I feel like it's okay though. Without them, there's no Beit Knesset.
But it's Erev Rav.
Okay, you turn the erev. You take.
By the way,
the
that's
erev
you
out and
finding
turn
it.
into.
That's you finding nekudat tova. But that's you finding a nekudat tova, which is good. And I'm saying, this is the reality of the world.
But it's better. I'm saying uses his money for that than anything else.
But it's not Nishmat Hashem. So what is it?
But
Is it
it'll
better?
come. It'll maybe eventually. I'll see you, bro. Maybe it'll eventually come to these.
Yeah, by the way, you're
So
right.
fake it till you make it. Like this
You're
is
right.
like the start of something.
You're right. You're right.
So I feel like I get. At the beginning it's not. But maybe it's starting something.
It can be. There can be a teshuvah from this. No one's saying the contrary. But I'm saying the reality of the structure of how it was built or how it was done. Forget not bad. The people are erev.
That's the
But only these people
What he's saying. Yeah,
not
of
the people
course.
who
Yeah.
come to show.
By the way, some people who don't understand, some people who don't do this, some people are naive now. Do we understand the implications of every single thing? No. But there are plenty of things that we know, whatever it is, we're not going to say. This is a group of the Erev Rav Tov. Great. Okay? Now we can move on. והם הראשים בבית הכנסת, these are the leaders of the בית הכנסת, אלה יכולים לסבול אנשים כשרים. And what's an indication that these are people that are brilliant in face of their Erev Rav? They cannot stand upright people. Anytime there's an upright person in their beit knesset, they kind of kick them out, they don't want anything to do with them, this and that. Okay? ולמה אתם צריכים לחשוב תחבולות די להתפלל בשם? So what is he saying to students? Why do you guys want to pray specifically over there? ובטוח אני בהשם יתברך שוודאי יסחצרו מצרים במצרים. והשם יתברך ייתן רווח והצלחה ביניכם. Hashem will give you guys רווח and הצלחה. התייצבו וראו את ישועות השם אשר יעשה עמכם, דום להשם יתחולל לו. Be silent for Hashem and long for Hashem. ויעשה עמכם עוד לטובה. ליראו שונאינו ושונאיכם יבושו. And your enemies will literally be embarrassed before you. Do something good for Hashem. So there's all these ideas that he's telling them. So what did he say? He later goes on and says, כי אם היה רוצה אברהם what did he say? ויש לך איך שתגולים שמך תחיה ביסתה אותך עד שמחזיק אותך אתה אצלנו ויש לך ייסורים מרדיפות שלומנו. You also have ייסורים ומשתתף בעצמך בצער אנשי שלומנו, and you're constantly being included within the tsar of the breslovers. לא תשגיח עליה בכלל. Don't pay attention to those people who are hurting you. And he's telling this to another Rebbe Nathan who was suffering from his mother. His mother was telling him, why are you with the breslovers? You shouldn't be there. You shouldn't do this and that.
Rebbe Nathan's mom?
No, this is a different Rebbe Nathan. Another Rebbe Nathan.
But not the Oran.
Not the one writing. And there's many Rebbe Nathans here. He's sending it to another Rebbe Nathan saying, just be strong. And attach yourself to Anshe Shalomenu, to the other students of Rabbeinu. Lo tashkiach alea klal. Do not pay attention to her at all. Rak telech al derech avicha. Go on the path of your father. Zichol libracha. Lechai Olam haba. On the pathway of Olam haba. To the life of Olam haba. Ki ima yavatze Avraham Avinu alav shalom lishma lekol aviv imo. Because if Avraham Avinu wanted to listen to his father and his mother, Lo haya rosh avot, he would never become the head of the forefathers.
So messed up. He's calling his parents, bro.
I say go on the
Yeah,
pathway of your father. Utayin be'ma'amar echad haya Avraham. Look at this teaching. Rabbi Nachman says one was Avraham.
Oh, it's just a fire one.
It's amazing.
I don't know any of it, but it was always brings up.
It's an amazing. It's a small piece, right between Torah, right between the first volume of the Gemara and the second volume. One was Avraham. Maybe we'll do it after. בתחילה ליגות את עניינו. רק חזק ונתחזק להשתתף בצוותא חדא ובזיון. What did he say? Be strong and include yourself. צוותא חדא, with one joining force. עם הביזיון, with embarrassment. Accept embarrassment and be one with it.
Really tough.
Crazy.
Really tough.
That's something. ביזיון. Accept ביזיון and be בשמחה with it. להשתתף בצוותא חדא עם הביזיון. Literally include yourself within the bizayon. Be tzavta chada, one joining piece with the bizayon. Shu kevod al-mabad. Why? Because embarrassment is the kavod of the next world.
I thought that embarrassment was okay. Is that one, and then also when you embarrass yourself in front of Hakadosh Baruch Hu when you say your sins? Is that a different?
That's
one?
another form.
Okay, but it.
But
it
here
does
he's
count.
saying, of course.
That counts as lesson 6.
That's the pshat of lesson 6.
Okay.
But what do you mean? Aren't you not supposed to be embarrassed in front of Hashem because you already know you're not telling him any new information?
No, but you should feel embarrassed before Hashem because you
Ashamed.
recognize that fault. Exactly.
You
For
feel
that embarrassment.
ashamed, but embarrassment is like
Exactly.
someone
really?
found out something that wasn't good, or something. Like Hashem didn't find out; He knows.
But
But
when
think
that
about it when-
consciousness hits you, you recognize.
Yeah, you recognize that you're.
It's also whenever someone's doing a sin, they don't think about
Exactly.
that. You're. It says like your neshama, not yours, but someone else's neshama like leaves his body because Uzan was saying this. He said it's impossible for a Jew to sin. Once if his neshama is in his body, it's impossible. So the neshama leaves his body. And he does the sin because like a ruach comes into his head, does it, and then his neshama just sticks up there until someone says Shema Yisrael. Whatever he has 12, the 12 words of Shema Yisrael include the 12 Shevatim, which is really what is Yisrael, whatever the whole thing. But anyways, the whole inyan is that I forgot what I was saying. But anyways, yeah, that was it.
No, because
Oh yeah.
the con-
So whatever you do a sin, you just don't realize that
you're not conscious.
you're not conscious. And then when you bring it up, Takadosh Baruch Hu, when you say it, you're like,
Oh, so then in that
I'm very
case,
saying that.
so in that case, if your neshama is not in your body when you do a sin, how can you be judged for it? Because it's not even
Because it's
you that's doing it.
You allowed yourself. You allowed it to leave.
You
You're the
You
one
allowed
who
it to
pushed it away.
leave. Got
Yeah,
it.
of course.
So your main sin is that you allowed it to leave first off.
Of course.
And then you decided to be a.
And then the
Zerma.
Ruach came. Yeah. By the way, the worse the sin, the more you're pushing the neshama out. So what's it saying here? Be one with embarrassment, for embarrassment is the kavod of the world to come. And automatically, when you accept the honor of the world to come, automatically the honor of this world will come too. One who runs away from honor runs back after it. You see Rabbeinu HaKadosh, the way he started with Avodat Hashem, and how many people were mitnaged, and how many people were opposing him, and now how many people are drawing close, and the honor is coming back slowly. And how people are recognizing that this book is making tzaddikim, and how people are recognizing that this book is going to help people, it's going to heal the world.
So is that why, quickly from your last point, that like if you see somebody get embarrassed or something and they say nothing and they're like that, you can go ask them for a bracha?
Of course.
Yes.
That's a real thing?
Of course it is. They have gotten rid of the evil blood of the left side of the heart.
Yeah, but like I'm sure you, possibly everyone in this room have gotten embarrassed and not said anything.
It's rare, bro.
Once or something. Yeah, it's rare.
Because it hits your
But
ego
also-
directly.
Yeah.
And you feel
That's the first thing you have to get rid
Also
of.
to judge them positively.
Huh?
That's the second.
Oh,
It's
so
the
like
hardest
get
thing.
embarrassed and be like this person
He had a good reason.
had a
And by the
tough
way,
day,
the point is to recognize that you yourself are at fault. Because the reason why you're being embarrassed is because God is showing you that you need a lot to fix. The fact that you need to be embarrassed is because you need to spill your blood. Because it says the person who gets embarrassed is if he literally spilled his blood. Because the blood of the
yeah, that's the
goes
fourth
to the
commandment,
face.
right?
It's
Thou shalt not kill is
so what did it say? This idea of embarrassment.
Embarrassment.
It's included inside.
yeah.
Why? Because it's as if you literally killed someone when you get embarrassed. She speaks about this and that. But what's
You told
that?
me this. You're like when redness comes to your cheeks.
Exactly, when the redness comes to the cheeks.
No.
The redness also leaves, it gets spilled out of the face, and then the whiteness comes.
Ah, c'est pour ça que les gens ils rougissent?
Huh?
C'est pour ça que les gens ils rougissent?
Yeah.
She's blush.
Oh, rougis, yeah, of course. Where's the blood going? The blood of the left side of the heart, which is where the Yetzirah goes,
Wow,
goes to the face. It gets spilled.
c'est un chidouche.
That's what Rabbeinu was saying. The atechivara. And whiteness comes. Why did it say hamalbin penei chavero barabim? One who hamalbin whites a person's friend, whites a friend's face in public. What do they mean to white a friend's face?
Embarrass them.
Because your face becomes white. Also becomes red and white. It changes colors.
Yeah.
So what's happening? Rabbeinu was saying that one who embarrasses a friend in public, chad v'shalom, you do not want to know the punishment. This is like one of the worst punishments in
Your
the game.
friend in specific.
When they say friend, any Jew.
Oh, so.
Hashem Yerachem. This thing. We do not want to know the punishment for a person who does this. But
There obviously has to be rectification for that because everyone in this room has probably embarrassed someone in their lifetime. It's very unlikely that everyone's to the millimeter fault.
embarrassing them publicly versus privately is also different. There's differences.
There's no okay.
But
Best of luck, Snake.
Rabbeinu is saying the embarrassment is the thing you need to embrace because you are accepting the light of the world to come when you get embarrassed. But only when you stay silent. Because when you stay silent, you accept the kli of the light of the world to come. You create a vessel to accept the light of the world to come. When you don't stay silent, you got rid of the entire tikkun.
So essentially, we're going to keep getting embarrassed until we realize the shara.
And Hashem is going to continue to embarrass us at a personal level and at a public level in a sense. Whether it happens in person, like what we're talking about here, when people are chasing you and you're avodah Hashem, that's a form of
How
embarrassment.
does that mean Hashem embarrasses you?
When you go into Yibodedut and you start speaking before Hashem and you recognize what you did before Hashem yesterday and you remember something came up and you're like, why did I do that? And you speak about it and then you get ashamed. That shame before Hashem is what we're talking about.
It's good.
It's very good.
It's very good. Got it.
It's a very good thing.
You're essentially
Getting rid of the blood of the left ventricle.
admitting it to your Hashem, but to yourself, really.
Of course. The entire thing that you're accepting embarrassment and being silent, meaning what does it mean to be silent? Not to make excuses of the fact of why you did it.
You embarrassed your friend.
Exactly. Or why I sinned. I did this thing wrong before you, Hashem. I feel ashamed. I'm not going to come with excuses to pretend as if I had a good reason as to why I did it.
No, there's never a good reason.
That's the thing, but accept it with silence. Meaning what? Hashem, you're right. And I'm wrong. And when you do that, that's the tikkun.
So essentially that's a teshuvah also.
Of course, that's a teshuvah, and then you're going to do teshuvah on that teshuvah.
Yeah.
This is the entire process of lesson 6. But what he seems to be saying is don't run after the kavod. Run away from it. And the kavod of Olam Hazeh is also the ikar of the kavod of Hashem Yitbarach. כי צריכים להימנט בכבוד עצמו ולהרבות בכבוד המקום. בכבוד השם יתברך. ורבנו ז"ל תלמידו הקדוש המסיחים הנביאים אליהם הם כבוד השם יתברך. And what is the כבוד of Hashem יתברך in this world? The ספרים of Rebbe Nachman and Rebbe Nathan. And all those who are attached to him. ומי שיחזיק מהם, and one who reinforces himself with these books, בוודאי יהיה לו אחרי טוב לנצח נצחים. It is certain he will have a final good forever and ever. Amen. Set up. Okay?
Amen.
Now, we'll finish off because there's more to it, but I'm going to stop here. We'll finish off.
By the way, I think we should study lesson 6 for the next 6 years.
It's an amazing
I'm not
talk.
even joking, just because we haven't scratched the surface, really.
We haven't scratched the surface of lesson 6 at all.
In 100 years, we might have scratched the surface.
Not even.
That's every day, 18 hours a day. Right?
Yeah.
It's not once a week with pizza.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
By the way, look what he says here. You guys want to hear something crazy? When I read this today, I was absolutely mind blown. When someone next time tells you, why are you studying this? Chaim Moran, why are you studying Likutei Moran? You should be studying this. Look at this.
How should you respond? Is that what you're about to say?
ואצלנו צריכים שיהיה עיקר הלימוד בספרים הללו. By us, the main limud should be with these sfarim. ואם יישאר פנאי ילמדו עוד שיעורים. And if we have more time, we'll study other books.
My gosh, it's
Yeah, but even in our whole lifetime, we're not gonna even finish these ones.
Kikar-
Is that the joke?
Kikar, no, because for them they were studying all day. So them, they study Torah, they study Chaim Moran, they pick up Likutei Moran, and if they have time, they're gonna pick up.
Yeah, but you
Torah.
said that even in like you said the only way to know Likutei Moran is to know it frontwards and backwards by heart. So since no one knows that, then nobody has time to read another book because you still haven't finished this one.
But that's not the point. The point is to study the book to apply at a simple level. Whether you understand it or not, there's 1,000 qualities that get you to understand. There's a person who's Pogem Barit that does not understand my words. Every person today in today's generation has blemished the Brit somewhere, so nobody understands what he's saying.
Yeah,
So, at our level, we should just study Rabbinu books, right?
I'll tell you what the answer is. If a person is able to study all day, he needs to have a seder to study Gemara, study Halacha, study Musar. But there's two things. When a person is working, he needs to study two things. The two most important things. Halacha, ça veut dire Halacha, pick up Kitzur, Shulchan Aruch or something, study Halacha every single day, and Musar. Musar means ethical Torah teachings. Which means what? Sifrei Rebbe Nachman.
You know why, Musa? They're ethical? Because then you'll figure out that you have more time to learn in the day.
What do you mean?
That's
a
a
good
joke.
one.
That's a joke they say.
You know why Musa?
It's like you have 5 minutes a day to study Musa. Study that Musa, which is like I don't know, how do you describe Musar?
Yeah, what's the study of
Musar
what?
means reproof. It means like rebuke. It means teaching that refine your midot.
Like rebuking kind of,
moral.
but like in a refining way, like
Ethical teachings, meaning teachings that actually improve your action.
you know, Shara Bitacha and things like that.
Okay,
La morale.
Because then you'll realize that you have more time than 5 minutes
Yeah.
to study.
got it.
That's a joke they say.
So what's he saying here? The main study for us is these books. And if we have more time, well, we'll study the other ones. Ki kach amar Rabbeinu Zal. Because this is what Rebbe Nachman said himself.
Is that true?
If he's saying it's emet. And he understands the Kavanah from Rebbe Nathan. Because he's the Talmid of Rebbe Nathan.
Right.
I'm going to open up Chayei Moran. Shin Mem Vav.
Ça va.
But we see the idea here. What's he saying? By the way, so understand for people like us who go to work, whatever it is, we have to study halakha and sfarim that improve the midot. For a Chabad person, he's going to study Tanya. For anyone else, he's going to study what it is. Rebbe Nachman said, with my sfarim, there's no need for any other books of Musar. Because all the Musar is written in my books.
You don't need to study
You
Musar.
don't need to study any other books of Musar.
Ok, mais
All my books are filled with Musar.
Yeah, that's the whole
All
idea.
Rabbi Nachman's Likutei Moran, Likutei Etzot, Likutei Halachot, Sibur Masiot.
Ouais, mais est-ce qu'il considère qu'on aurait dû déjà savoir tout le Chumash, enfin tout le Tanar et tout
Normalement, on doit étudier tout ça
C'est
aussi.
ça, ouais, normalement, et censé, ça c'est censé être un acquis que tout le monde a en fait, c'est ça?
Mais, c'est quoi plus important? De savoir ou de appliquer?
Non,
De faire.
d'appliquer.
Alors, c'est quoi? If you're just going to study the Chumash,
Ouais,
you're not going to go anywhere.
ouais.
You need to study the word of the Chachamim.
C'est pour ça que la Torah de Rabbeinu c'est la plus importante, parce qu'en réalité c'est beau d'avoir tous ces rabbinim qui te font des chiours de fou sur les parachutes, qui t'arrivent à te relier des trucs, etc. Tu dis c'est beau, mais dans ma vie, moi,
Exactement.
qu'est-ce que ça va
Jour à
faire?
jour, qu'est-ce que ça
J'ai entendu des belles paroles, c'était génial, mais qu'est-ce que t'as retenu du cours?
Mais surtout que c'est un
Tu
des
vois,
arguments
exactement.
principaux des gens qui s'éloignent après. Parce qu'ils te disent, oh, bon, j'ai étudié ça, mais j'arrive pas à l'appliquer dans ma vie, après ils s'éloignent. Et c'est l'opposé de ce qu'on
Exactement.
veut, genre on veut qu'on se rapproche des
Parce que tout le but c'est de devenir une meilleure personne et d'essayer d'accomplir la volonté d'Hachem.
Yeah.
Mais c'est pas en écoutant des belles paroles qui vont te plaire que ça va.
That's exactly it. I'm going to say it out in English because it's so important. What you just said right now. That's exactly the thing. The good, nice words, the nice divrei Torah, the beautiful chidushim, at the end of the day, that doesn't bring you anywhere unless it's tachlis ba'avodat Hashem. If it's not going to refine your midot, and it's just a nice shiur Torah about the Zohar Kadosh and the Sifrei Arizal, and this and that are nice and beautiful and very big, mais some shoshpa doesn't change me. If those words aren't changing me, and it's just a nice divrei Torah, nice chidush, and gamatria of this, that, he's putting it together, faire une soupe comme ça, with 1,000 talmidim next to him, but there's no tachlit avodat Hashem.
Ça finit en salle.
What is it? What's the Torah? You know what it is? For your own kavod.
Ouais.
It's not to
Which
change
then
anyone
you're
but
making
for your
it
own honor.
technically-
It's not Ishma. You can say whatever you want, but if it's not to change you, it's a totally different thing. It's not that's not Torah.
Give us names.
Anyone who is sincere will understand who and not to learn from. Who to and not to. Because their words will change you if not. If you stay the same person 1,000 times without any wanting, without any differences, without any improvements, without any wanting to change, without any motivation to change, c'est zéro. C'est un zéro. You can say whatever you want, but the nice chidush that you heard without, like what you said earlier, but when someone asks you to repeat what they said, tu peux rien dire, you can't say anything.
Yeah.
What's the point?
But that's what's good about our sichats is that like it's pretty much like a. Don't take this offensively. I'm not saying an offensive thing. It's like for dummies. Like not for dummies, but like we're able. Our level. Hey man, I studied hard for this.
Right here, man.
No, so am I. What I'm saying is like
Right.
for dummies at our level, like we can actually apply it
Of course.
to our
That's
life.
the point of the Torah. Everybody has to know this phrase. Ki lo hamidrash lo ha'ikar.
Yeah, he's embarrassing a Jew.
No, bro.
Ki lo hamidrash lo ha'ikar, ela ha'ma'aseh. The midrash is not the ikar, the study is not the most important thing, the action is. So if this study is not bringing you to change, ça vaut quoi? What's it worth? So that's what he's saying here. That's what he seems to be saying here. I'm going to bring this piece from Chaim Moran. We'll hopefully finish
C'est pour
here.
ça en réalité qu'il y a tant de personnes qui sont contre Rabbeinu, parce qu'en réalité ça leur fait mal d'admettre que tout ce qu'ils ont fait jusqu'à présent,
Ouais, c'est
aux autres dépens qu'ils font, c'est un peu du cinéma. Comme
Ouais, c'est pas de la merde, mais c'est du cinéma.
Et donc du coup ça leur fait mal et ils veulent pas admettre qu'ils sont pas dans le MF.
Exactement.
C'est ça.
And by the way, there are people that can change you. There are people that can change you that are not bijuk within the
I know, we have one here tonight.
No, not bijuk within the Inyan of Rabbeinu, I'm saying. There are people that can change you that are not bijuk within the Inyan of Rabbeinu. They might teach you Gemara, they might tell you how to fix you. I mean, attach the Ramchal, this, that. These are tzaddikim. The main thing is that it always comes back to one thing. How will it bring me to Avodat Hashem? How can I serve Hashem with this piece of Torah? If it's to study a Gemara and Ta'anit, just to know the nice story so I can quote the Gemara next time, or to create a commentary on the Gemara Kiddushin, or to do this, or to do that, what's it worth? What's it worth? Everything you'll look at, Likutei Halachot, Likutei Moran, Rabbeinu will take a Gemara, Rebbe Nathan will take a Gemara, they will flip it on its head and show you what it's really trying to say. And how through the Gemara that you don't even understand the thing. For example, there was once a frog the size of the city of Hagronia, which was 60 homes. This frog was so big.
The size of?
Yeah, so big. This one came a raven, swallowed the frog. Came a snake, swallowed the frog. That was bigger than this city, right? So the snake must have been bigger than that city and the frog. Came a raven and swallowed the snake. The raven comes and sits on top of the tree. How big must this tree be that it's holding the weight of a raven that ate the size of a frog, the size of a snake? Mon frère, what are you gonna get from the
tree of life?
So what's
It
it
was the
talking
one tree.
about? Right, Rabbeinu speaks about this again. Rabbi Nathan speaks about what the tree means. What's the raven? What's this? Because everything needs to be connected back to one thing. How is it going to help me serve Hashem?
If that question's not answered,
Then it's not.
for no
What's the
reason.
point? And by the way, Rabbi Nathan, and this is the entire point. Rabbi Nathan was once traveling with one of his shamashim, with his shamash, his main shamash, Rabbi Nachman Mituchin. Rabbi Nachman Mituchin, c'était un simple. He was a simple man.
Tu as dit ça la dernière fois, j'y ai repensé cette semaine.
Quoi?
Tu as dit que c'était un simple. En principe, les shamashim, c'était des gens.
Exactly,
Ouais, ils savaient pas vraiment lire et écrire.
Ouais, t'as dit. Non, c'était pas Rabbi Nachman.
Ça veut même pas lire, je crois.
T'as dit. Mais je t'ai vu faire des miracles et toi. Tu
Ouais,
connais Aleph,
quand ils sont dans le désert.
So what's the idea? Last week we were talking about how the shamashim most of the time, the shamashim who used to assist the tzaddikim didn't really know much. They didn't know how to study properly. They were just there to help tea, this, that. Now that was a big zchut. We see that now as a big zchut because we understand what it means to be humble, to attend to the tzaddikim, right?
But wouldn't it be the opposite of running away from honor to have someone to serve your tea?
Meaning you're saying it is honor.
If you want to run away from honor, the big tzaddik wants to run away from honor. I'll serve my own tea. No?
I'll tell you what the answer is.
Saves time.
For Rabbeinu, it saves
Saves
time.
time.
Exactly. For Rabbeinu, he already broke his gava.
Ils sont trop forts.
There's no gava for
Sans des
him.
réponses, frère.
By the way, I thought Chazak
No,
Bravo. That's exactly the right answer. That's the most appropriate answer. Rabbeinu had no gava. So for him, he needs to save as much time as possible. And on top of that, by the way, it said in the Gemara, anyone, כל המונע אחד מלשמשו, מונע ממנו חסד. Anyone who prevents someone from serving him, prevents chesed from him. Meaning what? If a tzaddik won't allow someone to serve him, cup, tea, water, whatever it is, you're preventing from that man from getting chesed from Hashem. So you're actually, the tzaddik is actually giving the man a zechut to be a shamash.
Especially the tzaddik.
Yeah, no.
So Rabbi Nathan,
I'd pay to be the.
by the way, if only we
I'd pay to
understood,
pour tea for Rabbi Nachman.
if only we understood Rabbi Israel. Huh? Rabbi Israel over there, bro. You know what the Shamashim used to do? Rabbi Aaron Patz and all these people, bro, used to go do the most random tasks because Rabbi Israel with his awesome anava used to make himself look like a zero before everyone. The story of Rabbi Israel used to, when the people used to change Rabbi Israel to put on his socks had holes in them. Rabbi Israel's socks had holes in them. So what did he say? When Rabbi Aaron Patz, or the Shamash looked at Rabbi Israel. Oh no, by the way, with Nathan Uzon's dad, he was saying the story. Nathan Uzon's dad when Rabbi Israel was at his house, Rabbi Israel was at Nathan Uzon's house. Nathan Uzon's dad was putting him on the socks, and he saw the socks had holes. He said, "No, Rabbi Israel, can't we buy a pair of socks with the money they give you every month from the government?" He said, "Chaz v'shalom, that money's for Rabbenu's books. Not a penny for me." He said, "C'est encore des chaussettes. They're still socks, they still work."
Wow.
That's a tzaddik who has no kavod. Pour lui, c'est même pas, for him it's not even a question, he didn't even think about the socks. C'est toi, donc, it's in your head. Oh, he is suffering with the socks. Pour lui, il s'en fout. Il n'est pas dans ce monde-là, il est pas in this world. Non, maintenant, c'est ok d'acheter des chaussettes, bien sûr. Mais pour Rabbi Israel, tout son argent, all his money was for one reason. Every single dollar of Rabbi Israel, every single thing he got, was only to print the books. That's everything he did. That's all he wanted.
But he was selling them, or I mean giving them, or distributing
At
them.
cost.
No, forget about the making money side of it or
No, to
selling
create the
them. He
printing
was
press.
distributing them.
It was to create the printing press. All the money was to build the Keren Rabbi Israel. The Keren.
Okay, but let's just say he printed, now today, we can print books, the 3D printer can do it for you.
Yeah.
I mean, like a regular printer actually can print the books, but you could just technically print a bunch, but you have to distribute them as the
But
whole.
also the volume, the binding, how it's gonna work. Every single book needs to be transcribed properly. You know how much work that takes?
Yeah.
There's so many things, and also to make it a Shem Shamayim, the printing press. Everything Rabbi Israel did to build it, to buy the place in Yerushalayim, to do it, or whatever it is, wherever he bought it. You know what I mean? The first place. Baruch Hashem. So what's the idea here? There are tzaddikim who only want to serve Hashem for Hashem. So we were talking about earlier, if the Torah is not meant to change you, what's it worth at the end of the day? Just to hear a nice chidush about a nice truc and this and nice that, just to feed your own kavod, or to actually try to help us change? And when Rabbi Nathan, we were talking last time about Rabbi Nathan's shamash, right?
C'était Rabbi Nathan qui a
That's
été.
her, when he
Ils
said,
ont voulu le tuer, qu'il est par des.
il a attrapé, ils l'ont
attrapé, avec sa fille.
Ouais.
C'est qui? C'était pas Rabbi
Ah,
Nathan.
c'est le Baal Shem Tov.
Baal Shem Tov.
C'est le shamash du Baal Shem Tov.
Andrés, ouais, Andrés,
Yeah,
comme ça.
exactement.
What the heck are you guys talking about?
No, and the last time we talked over here, we were talking about the shamash of the Baal Shem Tov, who didn't know
But I think
anything.
before he
either.
came.
I wasn't there.
So what are we talking about? The shamashim most of the time didn't have much knowledge, you know what I mean, of Torah. They were simple people most of the time. So the shamash of Rabbi Nathan, whose name was Rebbe Nachman Mitulchin, who Rebbe Nathan said, by the way, when he saw Rebbe Nachman Mitulchin, he said, "I'm bringing you close for your son." Because Rebbe Nachman Mitulchin had a son by the name of Rabbi Avraham ben Rebbe Nachman,
Oh wow.
who's the author of Koch Ve'or, who's the author of Biur HaLikutim,
Rabbi Nathan
and who,
said that
thanks
thing?
to him, all the books of Rabbeinu were compiled after the war and stuff like that. It was very difficult to get the books. He saved all the Sfarim, and he made sure the prints weren't lost.
Wow.
Rabbi
Rabbi Nathan said
You know
that.
the zechut he had?
Oh, dude, it's insane.
Rabbi Nathan said that before his son was born.
That Zehut could have ate the raven that was on the
He
tree.
said, "I bring you close for your
That's
son."
so scary.
He said, "I brought you close for your son." No, I brought you, yeah, because Rabbi Nachman Mitulchin was 8 years old when he came to Rabbi Nathan.
Huh? And Rabbi Nathan told him that? For your son, I'm bringing you close?
Now he's not married yet even.
He's
the guy.
8, he said
He's
he's
8,
Hey,
yeah.
mon frère. Rabbi Moshe Breslovers was 8 years old.
Oh.
Rabbi Nachman Mitulchin was, I don't
I
know.
want my money back.
No, but it is known that Rabbi Nathan told him before. He said the reason. By the way, Rabbeinu also spoke about this. It's written down somewhere in Koch Ve'or that Rabbi Nathan told Rabbi Nachman Mitulchin that for his son later, this is why you have a special place here. But Rabbi Nachman Mitulchin was the shamash of Rabbi Nathan, and when Rabbi Nathan was riding on that carriage with him, on the carriage with him, and they were riding into the sunset in Ukraine, comme ça. He looked at Rabbi Nachman Mitulchin. He said, "It would be good if you study Torah." So Rabbi Nachman Mitulchin, what does he do? Il est pas un feignant. He's not Chad v'Shalom. He didn't take that word and say, "Okay, tough." He gets back to the motel where they were staying. He opens up a Gemara, Talmud Bavli. He opens up a Gemara, and he starts reading through a Gemara. Rabbi Nathan looks at him and says, "No, close the book." So he closed the book. He says, "Why?" Rabbi Nathan looks at him and he says, "Because if you were to study the Gemara, the first thing, you would become an Abdal. you would become a studious individual, you become someone with great wisdom, and you get arrogant. But if I told you to pick up Chumash and Midrashim and the stories of the Gemara first, and things that are going to refine your midot, you'll become a tzaddik first. And then when you study Torah, you'll be a tzaddik and then a lamdan.
To be able to learn
Meaning
the
you'll
right
study
things.
Torah for the right way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Meaning people today, because the system has told us that we need to study this and this and this and this, which is true, we do need to study Gemara. It is true, we do need to study Halacha. But the main thing is things that change us. And for people that go to work, this is a klal. Halacha, Sifrei Rabbeinu. If you have more time, pick up a Gemara, listen to Shiur on Gemara, Daf Yomi. Open the Tanakh. These are books that we need to open. Open up the Tanakh. Read the stories of the Gemara, the En Yaakov. En Yaakov is a book of all the stories of the Gemara from the beginning to the end, all of them compiled. So it's only stories. It's an amazing book. Why? Because that inspires the heart. It changes you. It makes you want to do things. Sometimes you read a Gemara back and forth, a chaque l'intérieur, frère, you walk outside the street, your head's about to explode. You don't understand what they just taught in the Gemara, what the Tosfot, what the Rashi, what the Ran, what the Rit is arguing, what the Barsha, what the... Mon frère, we don't understand anything in the Gemara sometimes. Tough. Rebbe Nathan says good. Refine your midot, study Tanakh, open up the Chumash, start reading the Chumash. Rebbe Nathan on his deathbed, when he asked for the book, he said, bring me the Kultuv, bring me the book that is all good. They asked him, what's it Kultuv? He says, Tanakh. Bring me the Torah Nevi'im Ketuvim. I want to read through Chumash. This was before he passed away. But Rebbe Nathan said before he passed away, Daf echad misifrei Rabbeinu yakor et kol hara ba'olam. One page of Rabbeinu's book will uproot all the evil in the end of times. One page. Mon frère. Une page. This page itself will uproot all the evil. The rest of the pages will be to, mon frère.
You'll fly into the sky.
Fly to the sky, truc, flying carpet, Bibe Simcha, Emuna. One page. That's what Rebbe Nathan says. And Rebbe Nathan does not, he's not joking around, mon frère. Rebbe Nathan
He's not
says,
saying stuff.
one page of Likutei Moharan will uproot all the evil in the world, he needs it. Parce que, ça veut dire,
Tu sais quand t'enlèves un arbre.
Ah, déraciner, non?
Déraciner.
Déraciné.
Uproot.
Uproot.
Uproot, ok.
one page.
Là, j'ai mal encore. Excusez-moi.
We already don't understand how each and every letter in here is a medicine for the neshama just by reading it. You know how people say reading the Zohar Kadosh is a medicine
Even
for
if
the
you don't
neshama.
understand.
Même si tu comprends pas, c'est bien de lire le Zohar Kadosh. Even if you don't understand, it's good to read the Zohar. Rebbe Nathan said the same singular is true of all the Sifrei Rebbe Nachman.
Read one page randomly at the
Read a
end of
page,
it.
you don't understand anything. Let the words heal you. Tu comprends rien, en fait, tu sors du livre.
Yeah, that's why also.
Tu sors un livre, tu lis un truc, tu t'as rien compris, c'est pas grave.
Now, of course, the best thing when you pick up the books of Rebbe Nachman
To
is
try and understand also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even if you don't understand, tov. But now we see here, look what he says. Rak ha'ma'amin lo yachush. The one who believes will not lo yachush, will not give up, will not spare. V'chizku v'chazku atzmechem b'simcha. Reinforce yourselves to be happy. Ki Rabbeinu zal gamar ve'igmor. Because Rabbeinu has finished and he will finish. The work is done. Rabbeinu said, all I'm asking you guys to do is bring me the mortar and the bricks and I'll do the building. Just bring me the mortar and the bricks. Ça veut dire, fais ton avodat Hashem comme moi je te demande. Do your avodat Hashem the way I ask you.
Il était avec moi.
Try to wake up chatzot, read a Tehillim, mon frère. Read a Tikkun HaKlali during the day. Be besimcha. Try to go to the mikveh once in a while. And then you push your boundaries. You try to go once every week. You try to go twice a week. You push the boundaries little by little.
For
Ask
someone, it could
Hashem.
be once a year.
Exactly.
If
And you
they're
slowly build.
not at all in
Exactly.
this-
And you slowly build. He's going to do it every single day. Whether that means 1 minute, whether that means 30 seconds, or whether that means 1 hour and a half. Every single day he's going to do it.
You know when it's, I don't want to say easy because chas v'shalom, I'm going to get a yitzhara that's been never seen before. But when it's convenient, is, I'd probably never do it for longer than a minute.
Il te faut des doutes?
Yeah. No. In what I'm about to say.
Oh, sorry.
I probably never do it for longer than a minute, but once I'm done putting on my tef, before I take them off, I just do like 30 seconds, 1 minute, like thank you for the da, 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 and then I wrap it up. But at least you're getting your push-ups in, you gotta get your reps in.
For sure. For sure.
But it's an
That's
easy
how it
one,
starts.
because you're feeling they're already on, frère. T'es déjà dans la dégaine, le taille, la rapta. Fais un truc.
caméra.
Ouais, top celui-là. Pour le mariage, j'ai eu celle-là. Ma femme
Oh,
m'a
really?
acheté. Ouais, top.
Oh, I know.
Exceptionnel. Where's Razia?
Je sais pas.
Faut qu'il vienne, là.
So,
He doesn't want to come after the scooter thing, huh?
I know I dragged you guys on. Where were we at? We dragged on for a while, huh?
Huh?
It's been a while. We've been dragging on. But this is the idea.
Perfect.
This is the
We just got
idea.
started.
We gotta do
The pizzas are on their way.
the pizzas?
Yeah, I ordered more.
Oh, nice. Perfect, bro.
Yeah.
I brought a sleeping bag. I meant to be in it for Nets.
I have a.
Oh, you have a room?
Yeah, of course.
Perfect. We'll do Nets at 6:50. We'll start.
Look at this. Look what he just said. I'll finish like
What's
this.
Là, après, ça fait net.
What's the most Jewish thing ever? The thing quand tu comptes les mecs mais tu dis des noms.
Ah, moi, je dis
Genre pas un,
Bah,
pas
au
deux.
khatam Hashem, Kenu Melekala.
Non, Oshia.
Non,
Oshia est à
Yeah,
Breslov.
Oshia.
Non, tu dis,
yeah, not one, not two.
Non, mais
Yeah.
tu dis des noms au mieux de faire dire ça.
Yeah, not one, not two.
Non, et.
Vas-y.
Putain, this you're gonna have to edit.
Torah Tziva Lanu Moshe.
Yeah.
They love doing that one. Don't even
Yeah,
talk about
what's
it.
in the Cheminaretz is 10 also, that's where they go.
Oh, no, but who the Frank Valenci does one? It tops them all.
Torah Tziva Lanu Moshe, Moshe Morashak, il est
Ouais, il dit un truc comme ça, frère, il met dans les stars.
No, he does like that's
J'adore
how
quand
he
il fait
does
ça.
Torah Tziva
À chaque fois,
Lanu.
j'essaie genre de me
Tziva
rappeler,
Lanu
je me rappelle
Moshe.
jamais.
Moshe Morashak, bro.
I don't know how it
It's
goes.
so complicated.
No, I swear he says Yitzhak Moshe Yaakov. I don't know. I think he says some. I don't know.
He does some Kabbalah Masi.
Ah ouais, frère, c'est des sodim là ce qu'il dit.
So look what I'll say here.
You said ça.
Ouais, c'est du sol.
I'll do one. I'll finish off with this. That way I don't drag you guys more than we need to. ועכשיו אני לומד הלכות מציאת הפת הלכה ה'. Rebbe Nathan B'reb Yehuda is saying, now I'm learning ליקוטי הלכות, the halachot of breaking bread, when you do המוציא, הלכה ה', the fifth הלכה of this. אין אני יודע מה אנו מחשים, I don't know why we are scared. הנהיה כדבר גדול כזה, is there anything bigger than this? אשר רבנו ז"ל ותלמידו הקדוש, the Rebbe Nachman and Rebbe Nathan, a student, רוצים לנקות וטהר אותנו מכל וכל. They want to completely clean us, to purify us from every single thing, מהבגדים הצועים, from all the evil clothing that we put on, all the bad עבירות, חס ושלום, all the things that we put on our נשמה. ולהלביש אותנו בבגדים נקיים ולבנים לעולם הבא. And they want to clean us with clean clothing for the world to come. That he brings over there that halacha, how the tzaddik is there to repair take out your smelly clothing and to put on new clothing. ומחמת קטנותנו, because of our low level, אין אנו צריכים לשכוח גדולת רבנו זה ותלמידו הקדוש. We must not forget the greatness of Rabbeinu and his תלמיד רבי נתן. ואנו צריכים לשמוח, we need to be בשמחה. ולרקד to dance ברחובות, in the street ובשווקים, in the courtyard, על גורלנו וחלקנו. Over the fact that we are, look at the portion we have, that we're attached to a tzaddik who's willing to fix everyone. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל. It's on us to praise the master of everything. אשכנו אשכנו, ולא להתבטל בפניהם, רק תנו עוז אלוקים. Do not give up before those people who prevent you from drawing close to the tzaddik. Do not give up when someone pushes you away. Be strong. תנו עוז אלוקים. Give strength to Hashem. ולא ניתן תורה לישראל אלא מפני שנאזין. Just like we talked about earlier, that the people who are bold-faced don't have a portion of the Torah, we also say in the Gemara, the Torah was only given to those who are bold. What's the contradiction? How does it work? Rebbe Nathan says, Rabbeinu says, one is referencing an evil boldness for the Yetzirah, and one is referencing a boldness for the Torah. Because to be a tzaddik, to be someone who serves Hashem, you cannot do so unless you're like Avraham Avinu. And to be like Avraham Avinu, you can't listen to anyone and you have to go. You have to be bold. You have to be strong and courageous in the face of the Yetzirah. When the Yetzirah tests you with something show, with something on, you push away. The Yetzirah wants to test you, look over there. No, you look on the opposite side.
Yes, that's true.
You look in the steering wheel as you're driving. That's when you have 10,000 people running before you.
Eyes on the road, Paul.
Comme Rabbi Shmuel Shapira. Rabbi Shmuel Shapira, the big breslover chassid, when he used to go to Meron, he used to put boards on the buses, mon frère, to make no one look outside, so that they wouldn't damage their eyes. He put the board of the bus driver, mon frère, He left a piece this big for
Comme
him to see.
les chevaux.
He put a
tu
board
sais,
of wood
ouais,
across your
ouais,
home.
tu sais, hein.
Mon frère, même le bus driver pour le shmir à Tenaï. That's someone who's over Hashem. Pour nous,
Ouais, en cas où there's a...
yeah, on come in the forest. He used to
In the forest, there's not much to...
yeah,
I drive
in the forest, he used to close his eyes when he used to do it, but to do it.
But there's nothing much in the forest that can be...
So even here the Yetzirah can come.
Yeah, bro.
That's someone who's so bold against the Yetzirah, he didn't even give it an opening to the Yetzirah. Ça veut dire, tu veux me chauffer, I don't even like you. Get out
Yeah,
of
that's a
there.
good strategy, by the way.
It's the best strategy. ולא להתבייש מפני המנהיגים, יש לי הרבה לדבר לכם, אך לא על פני השדה. So, this is the idea. The anti-dagukra, do not be afraid, do not worry. Hashem is with us. Rabbeinu said like this, we'll finish off here. Rabbeinu said, מה לכם לדאוג, מאחר שאני הולך לפניכם. What do you guys have to worry about? For the fact that I'm going before you. There are people who are anticipating my tikkun that I can give them, and they've never even met me. And you guys, you my students are worried. He says, you guys have nothing to worry about. That's what Rabbeinu said before he passed away. What do you guys have to worry about? For I'm going before you.
Means like he's gonna set everything up upstairs.
Do we have a better healer than this? Do we have a better tzaddik than this?
Most definitely not, but when he says his students, do we count or real talk, we're not at the level?
How much do you want it to count?
I want it to count all
As
day.
much. Tough, then it counts.
Then it counts. No, when he says my students, I feel like you're talking about like Rebbe Nathan,
Of course, those are the real
the real students,
Those
the
are
ones
the
that
real
learned
Talmidim.
from him.
Of course, the Tamidim, but there are people after when Rebbe Nachman Mitulchin didn't see Rebbe Nathan. Or Rebbe
What is that?
Nachman.
Rebbe Nachman Bitulchin.
Rebbe Nachman Mitulchin was the Shamash of Rebbe Nathan, was the one who got coffee, tea, this, that.
Oh,
Tulchin is a town in Ukraine. Rebbe Nachman from Tulchin.
got it.
Pas de Breslev.
What?
When he came to Rebbe Nathan and asked Rebbe Nathan, he said, I've never had the merit to see Rabbeinu. Never had the merit to see Rabbeinu. Rabbeinu speaks about coming to see the tzaddik face to face. Rebbe Nathan looked at him and he said, you think the Yosele who took Rabbeinu from one river to the other side of the river, the person who was driving the boat, you think he saw Rabbeinu?
Yeah? No?
No. He said the person who sees Rabbeinu is the one who opens up his books. How much do we want? It depends how much Rabbeinu is engraved in our heart. For Rabbeinu said, you want to be engraved in my heart? You want to be engraved in my heart? First engrave me in yours. Rabbi Nathan says, force et courage.